Dragon Ball Z, an amazing series where he followed Goku, one of the most recognizable anime characters and shonen fighters to exist. He's had multiple shows, countless games, movies, and even a live-action film to depict the many journeys and experiences he's been on. Today, we're going to focus on one of the games, specifically the one on the Game Boy Advance called Dragon Ball GT Transformation. Before we start, let's get a quick rundown of what GT is for people who don't know. Dragon Ball GT is a spin-off of the main series, taking place at the end of the Z Saga 10 years later. Well, sometimes 10 years, sometimes 6 years. Really depends on the continuity. This series focuses mainly on Goku, Trunks, who is now grown up, and Pan, the granddaughter and son of Gohan, also grown up to a kid age of, I think, 10 exactly. This series is very divisive among Dragon Ball fans. A lot of people think that a cut from a cast of around 10 to 20 main characters to just one Kid Saiyan, one Half Saiyan, and one 1/4 Saiyan is a bold choice of characters to be stuck with, considering 2 of the 3 characters are people that are previously children or not born yet. The only one benefit I saw of this cast was an excuse to see more of Trunks, a character who genuinely got little screen time throughout the series at the time of GT releasing. And, if we consider the canon, this is Kid Trunks, grown up. So he has had even less screen time outside of the Cell and Boo saga, and even then, only features in some movies. Now, I personally grew up with this show, and I assume a lot of other kids or teens grew up watching it. It aired weekly on Nicktoons, and that's how I grew up experiencing GT. But, for this video's sake, I'll try not to let any of my childhood nostalgia get in the way of valid criticisms, but I'm going to say right here before anyone tries to call it out, I do love this series dearly, despite all of its many flaws and continuity errors. Anyways, now that the premise is understood, it's time to get to the actual game. This game follows the plot of the entirety of the first 2 arcs of GT, so I'm not going to really explain what that plot is right now, because that's kind of what this video game is supposed to do, since it's an amazing title with no flaws or plot holes at all. But if you're confused as to why I'm skipping over things, or seemingly not mentioning things that should happen or happened in certain scenes or parts of the story, that's why. I'm letting the game do all the talking. If you want to know the actual plot of GT, I highly recommend you go watch it. There's plenty of places you can probably find it on, legally. The game begins with Goku and Oob sparring out at Kame's lookout. Meanwhile, Pilaf is attempting to steal the Dragon Balls that are for some reason collected, have black stars this time, and are also unguarded in a room I've never seen before. These special Dragon Balls can allegedly grant any wish, no matter how powerful, because they were made when Piccolo and Kame were fused long ago when Goku was a kid. Pilaf gets to them and summons the dragons in the hopes to gain power and world domination. During this, Goku finishes training with Oob and tells that motherfucker to kick rocks, while he sees the Dragon Balls are being used and investigates. For some reason, Dende, Piccolo, Master Popo, anyone that's usually at the lookout is just nowhere to be seen at the moment. And as Goku arrives and watches helplessly for some reason as Pilaf uses the Dragon Balls, Pilaf recognizes Goku and gets rage baited by the pure fact that Goku is just older and ages, and accidentally wishes for Goku to be a child again, so he can have a chance at winning, as if Pilaf didn't get defeated by Goku 9 times out of 10 when Goku was still a kid. But hey man, good story writing here, no judging. I just need you all to know though, Pilaf wishing for Goku to be a kid, he's not beating the allegations, gang. The dragon, not really giving a fuck, instantly grants this wish and the Dragon Balls are scattered. Pilaf, realizing he just wasted his wish on something stupid, leaves, and Goku has to come to terms with being a kid. After this, Dende finally appears to tell Goku that those are the Black Star Dragon Balls, which are like the regular ones, but evil. And if he doesn't collect them in under 1 year, the Earth fucking explodes. Goku steals Bulma's brand new ship to go to space. No, she just offered it for some reason right as we need it. Pan asks to join and Goku tells her to fuck off and learn Super Saiyan. She obviously ignores this and joins anyway, because if not, Toriyama would get complaints that his story is sexist for lacking female main characters. So now, we have a useless female main character. Oh, and Trunks just is on the ship already for some reason, we just didn't really talk about it. Anyways, they head off into space and their journey begins. A robot named Giru appears while they're on this planet and eats the dragon radar because Trunks is a clumsy fucking idiot who doesn't know and should be strapped to an electric chair and fucking— Anyways, after he eats the dragon radar, they're forced to have to keep Giru around and find a way to remove it and probably put him down later. On the first planet, we start off in a facility that we've never seen before, fighting people we've also never seen before, with no introduction whatsoever. This amazing thing is going to be very consistent with the planets we go to and the way the game progresses its plot. The combat system of this game consists of 3 things you do to win. The first thing is spamming the attack button and occasionally moving the D-pad to accidentally use other moves that exist that the game doesn't explain to you. The second thing is to jump and then spam the attack button, because for some reason if you attack while in midair, it does the first punch and immediately the air cancels your animation. And what this leads to is you being infinitely able to punch and then cancel your attack and start it again, allowing you to do super speed punches and kill enemies in mere seconds. The third thing is you can press the bumpers and it'll make you shoot out a key blast. But if you accidentally press the other bumper, you'll see your character go into a charge up animation for half a second that does absolutely nothing and wastes your time. So don't press it.
Hi, editor's note here. I just wanted to say, after looking up some stuff about this game post-recording, I actually discovered that the other bumper actually charges up your key when you run out of energy from using key blasts. And I also learned if you press a certain button input, you can even shoot a Kamehameha out. But I didn't know this because this game does not have fucking instructions, unless you probably go into the options menu. So there is no tutorial that taught me how to play the game. Thank you.
These are the crazy mix-ups you'll need to master if you don't want to get stun-locked to death in this amazing gameplay experience, brought to us by Webfoot Technologies, creators of games like Dragon Ball Legacy of Goku 1 and 2, Dragon Ball Boo's Fury, and Homie Rollers. After defeating random soldiers that do nothing and encountering slightly stronger soldiers, you are faced with the mid-stage mini-bosses. These are 2 soldiers named both Gale and Shelia. They work for Don Key, the ruler of the planet, and have some witty dialogue before they begin to fight you. You make quick work of them as long as you know how to press the A and B button. After that, you're rewarded by killing more soldiers who don't know who you are, and eventually you'll meet the boss, Don Key. Scared that he realizes you know how to play the game, summons Professor Legic to fight you. Now, as a kid, this motherfucker was the coolest looking guy ever to me. I remember this commercial when I was a kid where you see this green ass, not Piccolo looking motherfucker square up with Goku, and he just was a complete badass. Anyways, he's the first villain we face, so of course he's extremely easy and you beat him in seconds if you use the jump attack I told you about. A good thing to note, most bosses are usually immune to key blasts or knockbacks sometimes. So when you have to fight, your best bet is to jump, spam hits, and then jump away before they attack you again. I call this the jump attack and dodge technique. If you rinse and repeat this, most bosses in the game, and even stronger enemies, will never touch you. After defeating Legic, you get the first Dragon Ball. Don't ask me to pronounce planet names, because I won't. Once we land on planet Massachusetts, you are instantly jumped by a gang of bees while on a raft floating in the river. Normally, this would scare me, but since I'm a veteran of Serious Sam 2, I have plenty of experience fighting bees and giant bugs.
I'm gonna tell my kids this is high on life.
Yeah, this is a better version.
You'll eventually meet the mini-boss, a giant turtle. It has a chomping attack that is nearly impossible to dodge. This is where you'll want to get better at mastering the jump attack technique I told you about, because he will melt your health otherwise. Once you're done, you ride on this dead dinosaur's back and continue beating up the insect world and claiming your spot at the top of the bug food chain. Eventually you'll meet the boss. It's a giant that seems to have a Dragon Ball stuck in its tooth. For committing this crime, the crew suggests you beat the shit out of him and hopefully the Dragon Ball will unlodge itself once he's dead. He opens his mouth for around 1.5 combos and then chomps, dealing immense damage if you don't move away. But this game's controls make you move slow as molasses, so your best bet is to punch for a little bit and then leave without getting too greedy. For some reason, this game thinks the cool anime attack and then you actually land the hit later After Effect thing is really cool to the point where they made it this game's main gimmick of fighting. So instead of punching and your attacks instantly land, now when you hit an enemy they get freeze framed, and it's only after 2 seconds after your combo ends that they actually take the damage you're supposed to and fall over with their animations. And what this leads to is a really sluggish combat gimmick where everything is delayed, and sometimes enemies that have super armor or just don't knock back will immediately start punching you again without any indication, because this invisible timer of their stun lock just ends without showing up. However, for this boss, the best bet is to keep your distance and line up your ki blast with the tooth whenever he opens his mouth. However, in between times of him chomping, a wave of enemies will appear and you'll have to dispatch them all before he'll open his mouth again. After doing this around 2 or 3 times, you'll defeat him and the tooth will come out. Instead of claiming the Dragon Ball, you just fly off, leaving everything behind, showing that the only thing you intended to do was cause this giant creature harm, and you are sociopaths. Onwards to Planet Elbow. Upon arriving, the entire village tells you to fuck off. You ignore them, and they warn you a giant monster can cause earthquakes and is torturing their people. Goku then decides this means yet another person has to get the shit beat out of them and heads off. You enter some lava cave with robots and begin killing everything. The game then spawns Zoras from The Legend of Zelda, and you proceed to murder every single thing on screen. Afterwards, you get in a segment where you have to fight wave after wave of endless enemies that seemingly don't stop. After endless waves of mind-numbingly boring gameplay, you face Zunama. This boss is a giant green catfish that looks like the parent of the frog that the Ginyu switched with. He tells you that with his whiskers he can control earthquakes, and Goku lunges at him and slashes his throat! You fight. Just do the jump attack and dodge technique and the boss will be done in less than a minute. After you win, Trunks will cut off one of his whiskers, preventing him from using his powers, and then Zunama will reveal he actually never could control earthquakes. He could only predict them. This means this guy was secretly a LARPing fat chud who lives in a gross goon cave and bullies helpless villagers all day. Basically the average Twitter user. After getting the Dragon Ball as a reward for saving the villagers, a mysterious force steals it away. Giru tracks it to planet Nude. You fight more robots as well as cultist knight soldiers with large swords in executioner-styled outfits. They require a bit of time and patience to fight, as you cannot harm them until they swing. But more importantly, you get introduced to idols on this planet. These little robots are the most aggravating thing ever. They hit fast, are smaller than some of your attacks, and typically gang up on you, dealing a ton of unnecessary damage. More on them later. You'll eventually reach the mini-boss, Cardinal Muchi Muchi. Hilarious name. He dies in probably 1 hit. Then, as Trunks sarcastically points out, the fight was a little too easy and he possibly has a second form. He has a second form. Looking strikingly similar to Hirudegarn from the movies, he is seemingly intimidating, but if you rush him with attacks, he'll become stun locked. However, if you don't attack quickly, he will begin levitating tiles on the floor, making an annoying shield of them around you like he's using Leaf Shield from Mega Man 2. Once Muchi is dead, you'll progress to the actual final boss, Lude. Now, as a kid, this thing fucking terrified me. I hated seeing Lude. The entire arc of him was only possibly 4 or 5 episodes long, but terrifying. This giant robot baby doll thing that absorbs people and turns them into toys? Nuh-uh. In the show, it was a very long, drawn-out battle, so I'm very glad in this video game it's extremely fast and just one fight. On top of that, it doesn't include the entire scene with Daltaki kidnapping Pan and subjecting her to strange activities. However, in this game's version of Lude's fight, Trunks and Goku are for some reason powerful enough to easily beat him. In fact, the whole Lude absorbing people bit is completely removed from the GBA game for some reason, and he just kind of revives randomly and fights them for no reason when they appear. In this battle, he has 2 hands and a mouth with all separate health bars. The strategy is to just ignore the 2 hands and focus on the mouth health bar whenever he opens his mouth. I found it easiest to just spam Ki Blast at his mouth from a distance so you don't get punched by the hands, and also if you're too close to the mouth it will fire out a beam that will do unnecessary damage. Once you win, Daltaki flees and you can catch him FaceTiming Dr. Mew before he's completely gone. More on Dr. Mew later. Before going to the next planet, Giro randomly decides to have a dialogue segment and tells everyone about planet M2, his home planet, and how much he misses it. Pan begs us to go take him there, and the rest look at her funny. We arrive at planet Mewtwo, home of Giru and all the robots we've been fighting thus far. Most likely, this place was a result of Elon Musk winning the presidency. On this planet, you fight, guess what? Robots here, and a lot of them. After the first group of robots is dispatched, Goku questions why the robots are hostile, and Giru just looks at them funny and says he has no clue who they are. Must be from Zero Block. They continue onwards, now dodging random metal drill attacks that just spawn from the ground and hit you for an entire combo's worth of health. There is no pattern besides a few intervals, so just be hopeful you don't step on the wrong spot or get punched into it, and you'll be fine. You then are greeted with a group of powerful looking robots who thank Giru for leading the group to them and say that Dr. Mew will reward him with a Medal of Honor for betraying all of his friends. What a fucking sellout. Giru then leaves the group and they have to fight these now army of powerful robots. The robots then fuse together, losing all aura they had originally, become this giant, bulky, lame mini-boss called Sigma Force Cannon. Oh yeah, by the way, if you switch to Pan, you just still use Giru, despite him leaving. Despite this being a mini-boss, this motherfucker has a full boss's health bar and annoying attacks that will deal an extreme amount of damage if you're not careful. Also, midway through the battle, he'll summon minion robots to assist him. This fight is very bad, and you have to be extremely careful to not get comboed by the boss and his minions at the same time and lose an entire character or the level. Once you win, you move onwards because yes, the level is still not over, and eventually after more fighting you will reach the real boss, General Rildo. Apparently he's some metal mutant robot fusion, and he can turn into liquid sometimes in the ground, kind of like the Terminator from the second movie. I don't know. A lot of things happen. He's pretty cool though. He faces you alone though and is far easier to beat than the mini-boss, so the usual jump attack and dodge tech will work perfectly. After you beat General Dildo, he announces he can never die as long as there's metal on M2. Goku and the others react by simply giving up and allowing themselves to be encased in carbonite, Star Wars style. At this point, Dr. Mew is finally revealed and prepares to turn them into robots, but Giru betrays him and frees the group, but accidentally drops Trunks' statue on purpose and shatters him on the ground. Before Pan can truly express sadness for this, Trunk reappears and explains that him and Giru made up a plan to trick Dr. Mew, and also Goku and Pan for some reason. I'm not too sure what the plan accomplishes, considering all Giru really had to do was side with Dr. Mew and then press a button. They could have kinda just did this without the whole capturing people and lying part, but hey, I didn't write the plot. Trunks then says Dr. Mew is creating a mutant robot super monster that could destroy everything. Its name is Baby, and as Dr. Mew explains how awesome it is to genetically create children, Trunks for some reason yells and blasts Baby, destroying him and everything else. With Dr. Mew seemingly gone, Goku asks where he went and Trunks just doesn't care and says that they should leave. After agreeing to never go on a side mission for Giru again, they continue searching for the Dragon Balls, not questioning at all if those characters they encountered would reappear again. Planet Parcheesi is a sand planet with scorpions, and on it you fight scorpion people and giant scorpions. And the boss of this planet is, you know what it is. Truly an innovative planet. After you win, you get the next Dragon Ball and move on. You just kinda come here. The Dragon Ball detects no life or even a Dragon Ball there, but you just go, because I guess you're just too bored to continue the main objective. This is also a 2 selection thing on the map, so you don't have to go here, but you can. Half of this level takes place in a flying stage manner, and there was one previously in the desert level we were just on, but I didn't feel like mentioning it. But the way the flying stages work is it's the exact same combat as normal, except you can't jump. which means the jump attack and dodge tech is completely disabled, making you very vulnerable to counterattacks. This space level sucks! They introduce a new spaceship looking enemy that will shoot a giant beam twice at you if it's far enough away, so make sure to destroy them as soon as you see them to avoid this. Also, there's flying robot enemies that will nosedive at you when they enter the stage and do a lot of damage, so if you know which side of the screen they're coming from, try to get there as fast as you can so they don't do the nosedive attack, because if they're close enough they'll try to punch you like normal. After dealing with that, you'll get through an elevator segment where you can finally walk on the ground again, and they will throw 4 waves of around 7 idle robots at you. These tiny fucks swarm and destroy your health bar immediately if you don't deal with them, and the only way I've seen to combat this is to glue Trunks specifically to a corner and spam your combo and hope they all walk into your hitbox radius to get stunned. After you defeat all the idols, you have one singular gauntlet left to get through, and that's tiny robots that fly at you, coming from either side of the screen randomly around 10 different times in a row. The boss of this level is called HWM100X. This is a cool reference because it's actually the same name as my printer, I'm pretty sure. The normal jump attack and dodge tech will not work. This boss will interrupt with a stomping attack that always hits if you're not out of the way. To avoid this, however, if you hold forward while attacking, your character will keep moving as he's punching and slowly end up either behind or inside of the boss when he does his stomping animation, and avoid the attack entirely. After you defeat the boss, Giro will warn you that the ship is going to fucking explode, and you leave. As you leave, the explosion in question is just a ship randomly nosediving into the sun and exploding, so you get to watch that, I guess. Why did we come here? Now, with a name like that, you'd probably assume this planet has one obvious enemy the second you get here. If you guessed a giant bird, big-headed wolves, and idol robots, you are correct! As if to give you PTSD from the last level, you are immediately jumped by a group of idol robots. Don't worry though, once you defeat them, they will not be returning this level, and you instead fight birds and other robots and wolves. At the end of this extremely short stage, you'll finally face the boss. Now, if you guessed the boss is a giant tiger, you're incorrect! Well, it's more like a giant bunny head with arms and legs and it's painted to look like a tiger. But it's not a tiger, really. After you beat the boss, you leave the level. I have no clue if there is an actual Dragon Ball on this planet or not because they didn't show me picking one up and they didn't say anything about it. But as far as I'm seeing, you just leave. So let's just assume there was no Dragon Ball there, that you just killed nature like you always do. Now, on a planet that sounds like the world gracious, it has to be a fun and pleasant place, right? Well, no, you're wrong. Idiot. It's actually a planet full of dinosaurs. Toriyama really likes dinosaurs, if you didn't know this. On this planet, you fight these buff, anthropomorphic dinosaur men with shredded abs and muscles. They're extremely tall and their hitboxes are really odd due to it. Goku is almost impossible to hit for them and can easily take them out. They throw a ton of variants at you, but none ever got a chance to even attack me, so I don't know, they just kind of exist. Eventually you get thrown into another flying segment, but this time the dinosaurs are at their disadvantage, because unlike you, they're riding on the back of pterodactyls, and any type of punch or disruption knocks them off, killing them instantly. After feeling superior to the flying creatures, and grinding up free power-ups off of their deaths, a giant dinosaur boss awaits you. Apparently it swallowed the Dragon Ball, so you just shrink down and go in its mouth, because that's just a thing we do now. Inside its stomach, you fight the dinosaur's tumor that apparently is containing the Dragon Ball inside, and as well as swallowed soldiers that appear in waves. You have to be careful though, because the surrounding area starts to fill up with stomach acid, leaving only a small platform to stand on at certain points. So you just have to wait for it to go away and then you can hurt the boss. After you win, the tumor explodes and the Dragon Ball is freed, and for some mysterious reason the Dragon Ball was the only thing keeping this dragon dinosaur thing giant, and it shrinks to the size of a puppy afterwards. Now that it's tiny and cute, Goku takes the opportunity to put it down. Finally, on seemingly the last planet, we arrive at Planet Polar Express. Now, if you've ever seen Polar Express, then we both know that movie has a train in it somewhere, and that it's during nighttime. This final planet throws enemies from older planets at you, but in much stronger and harder variants. The Zoras from Zelda are back with a vengeance! These beefier versions have more health and are far more aggressive, requiring very accurate timing to land an attack and not get retaliated. After that, you're greeted with these spikes that protrude out the ground if you step on them, so you have to watch where you're going. This planet's native inhabitants, ice crabs, will appear from time to time to fight you. These are seemingly the easiest enemies to face in this level. Eventually, as you progress, you'll fight ice wolves, which are just beefier versions of the wolf enemy from before, and eventually you will reach flying blue bees. These bees are a flying variant of the regular bee that only do the stinger shooting attack, and almost always hit you on their first attack because they auto-lock when they target you. After the onslaught of powerful enemies, you'll finally reach the boss. It's just a Yeti. He has a long-range punch that requires good timed jump attack and dodge techs to avoid. Occasionally, after doing enough damage, he will stop and slam his foot down, summoning ice to fall from the sky and retreating into his cave. This will summon around 3 ice crabs, and you will have to dispatch them before he'll come back out and allow you to harm him again. After defeating him, he'll throw a temper tantrum and the mountain will crush him alive in snow. What a cruel, horrible world. After allegedly collecting all the Dragon Balls, you return to Earth and go back to Kami's lookout. You meet a very odd-looking Dende and tell him that you have the Dragon Balls again. He tells you to hand them over, and Pan suggests using them to change Goku back. Dende then says doing so will scatter them across the galaxy, making the Earth doomed again. Goku debates this and decides he'll go see what his wife thinks before he makes a choice. This then cuts us to the city level of Earth, where you are immediately greeted by angry humans that Goku kills without a second thought. Trunks and Pan are shocked, not by Goku's ceaseless hunger for blood, but the fact that a human would ever think they could fight Goku and win. Trunks then mentions it seems like someone might be mind controlling them. Well, due to this game skipping the entire Baby saga, they would be very correct. Baby at this point has taken over the entire Earth and turned everyone into tuffles. On top of this, he took over Vegeta's body and now has a powered up baby Vegeta waiting for Goku to face. The enemies in this level are very annoying since they have a semi-knockback resistance and jump attacks that do a lot of damage if they land. But with enough determination and button mashing, you'll get through it to the boss, Baby Vegeta. Before this fight starts, Goku instantly tells Pan to fuck off, and Trunks is sensitive to family members arguing because his father beats him, and asks Baby to kindly mind control him. Due to this, Goku is left in a 1v1 against Baby Vegeta. It's at this point in the game I should probably mention, we have not gotten a single power-up whatsoever in this game. No Super Saiyan 1, no 2, no 3, nothing. It's just been Goku beating everything in his base form, in a series that showcases not only the first 3 Super Saiyans, but the 4th one. By the point of Goku versing Baby in the story, I'm pretty sure he goes Super Saiyan 3 at least once beforehand. So it's a little insane to think that he just doesn't use any power-ups ever when they very much canonly exist. Before he fights Baby Vegeta, Goku powers up with Super Saiyan Aura, but as the fight begins, you are just a normal Saiyan again. Anyway, ignoring the fact that we can't go Super Saiyan, and even going as far as tapping the trigger button that does nothing, as far as I've seen, to make any type of power-up or animation happen, I'm still left with base form Goku to fight Baby Vegeta, and we continue to fight. After winning, you trigger a cutscene in which Baby beats the fucking shit out of you and deletes you with a black spirit bomb. He then celebrates after he finally conquers the Saiyan race. Baby then takes the Dragon Balls and wishes for his planet Tuffle to be reborn, so the Tuffles can move to it and rule the universe. I don't know why, but they refused to show the whole scene of Vegeta getting taken over by Baby, but took complete liberty to show the entirety of Oob popping back up, challenging Baby to a fight, losing, powering up using Majin Buu to become Majub, challenging Baby to a second fight, and then losing again. We include that whole thing in a really good cutscene, but no Baby Vegeta origins. We then cut to Goku on planet Kai after it said that he was very much dead multiple times. It is revealed that he was saved by Kibito Kai and Elder Kai. Elder Kai attempts to train Goku to fight and defeat Baby. But unfortunately, their training gets them nowhere, and Elder Kai remembers why his universe still has the worst Kais. He then gets annoyed and instead thinks of a horrific torture method for Goku, to give him a Zenkai boost so he could be strong enough to stop getting his ass kicked by someone named Baby. He then concocts a great scheme to lie to Goku and say they could pull his tail back out if they use these giant tweezers they found, and progress to torture Goku in the most horrific way I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so graphic, I just can't show you. After Goku is thoroughly tortured and begs for death, they send him right back to Planet Tuffle to face off against Baby. Kibito Kai says that they will go find the sacred holy water that can remove the mind control, while Goku goes and beats Baby Vegeta. You know, now I think of it, Kid Goku versus Baby Vegeta sounds like the most insane shit ever to say to someone who's never watched Dragon Ball GT. Anyway, you continue through the final stage of the game. You face off against robots again in this level because General Dildo's true plan was to spread his annoying robot seed across every planet in the galaxy and make it your problem. Alongside them are more mind-controlled humans, and this combo makes extremely hard last enemies to face. On top of this, due to Pan being dead and Trunks also being dead, you play as only Goku this entire level. Now, this would normally be a bad thing since you all have separate health bars, but due to it being only Goku, you are now able to pick up every power-up in the level, and this was the only level in which I maxed out my damage and HP. Once you reach the end of the level, you face off once again against Baby Vegeta, and he greets you by calling you a monkey, which to Saiyans are most likely like a slur, at least from how Frieza uses it.
Some lowly beast! Training is meant for the monkey, and not for the master!
This fight is exactly the same, except Baby has more health bars. After defeating him, Goku finally decides to power up to Super Saiyan 3, just for Baby to beat the living shit out of him. Goku then lays on the ground, cursing Elder Kai for giving him a useless tail, and he looks at Earth in his final moments before he's put down. While staring at Earth, suddenly something happens. He realizes he's in a shitty Game Boy Advance game, and nothing actually canon, and he can just start making up rules. So, using the Earth as a fake moon, he transforms into the Great Ape. You then begin a second phase of this level as a giant golden ape version of Goku that rummages around town, doing literally nothing. After taking possibly 10 steps forward, Baby triggers a cutscene complaining that you're destroying his homeworld. Baby then panics, saying he needs something to stop Goku from being an ape, and at this point, Pan decides to invite herself back into the plot and tells Goku to remember who she is. Goku makes eye contact with her and instantly is struck with all of the horrible memories of her not contributing to the plot. During this painful moment, Goku reverts back to human form and morphs into the powerful Super Saiyan 4 finally. For some unknown reason, in this Super Saiyan 4 form, he bypasses the Dragon Ball wish and just is an adult again. I don't know why. He then instantly tells Pan to fuck off, and she's gone from the plot. Now it is time for Goku to challenge Baby to yet another rematch and test out his new power. In this fight, it really doesn't matter what you do. You are so powerful that every attack does an insane amount of damage to Baby, and it'll take mere seconds to win. Once you win, Goku calls Baby a stupid fucking bitch, and his name sounds like Truffle, and Baby summons a mind-controlled Bulma to power him up so he can fight him. Bulma fails this and instead turns him into a disgusting giant ape, like how Goku was. Now you're about to fight the final boss of the game, Baby. For some reason, unlike the other giant bosses you fight in this game, Great Ape Baby is rigged like a puppet and can only move his arms and mouth while the rest of his body is frozen in place awkwardly. He will throw punches at you and occasionally shoot beams out of his mouth. Those are the only attacks he does. The gimmick here is to just target his head, but it is extremely hard to hit as for some reason the input delay is times 30 in this fight, and he has 10-second long invincibility frames between each punch, meaning that after delivering an entire combo, it'll register as one hit. Besides that though, the fight is extremely easy, and after a little bit of time, you will be done with it. After defeating him, for some reason, the entire sequence of Baby trying to escape is cut off, and he's just automatically out of Vegeta and in his escape pod, and attempts to fly away, where Goku catches him with a Kamehameha and sends him straight into the sun, obliterated from life itself. Then they return to the lookout where Dende tells them the Black Star Balls are gone, and the Earth has 2 weeks left to live, and they all plan to evacuate everyone to planet Tuffle while the Earth is destroyed. For some reason, Piccolo thinks this idea sucks and chooses to stay on Earth and die than be in this video game for any longer. He believes that if he dies, the Black Star Dragon Balls will deactivate and no one could use them anymore. This is a lie, and he dies on Earth. After the Earth is destroyed, they go to Namek and use the Dragon Balls to revive the Earth. The end. Yeah. After that, it just ends. I mean, technically there's one more scene after the credits, where Dr. Gero and Dr. Mew meet in Hell and agree that they need to work together after they escape. Oh yeah, in case you weren't aware, Dr. Mew died at some point in the plot. They just didn't feel like talking about it. This game only covers the first 2 arcs of GT, leaving the Super Android 17 arc and the Black Star Dragon arc to the void for a sequel game. But unfortunately, for some reason, this game didn't do very good, and its sequel game got cancelled before it was ever developed. For some unknown reason, however, in the extras menu, you can view every single character sprite in the game, including forms and people that do not appear, like all of Goku's Super Saiyan forms, both Gohan and Goten Super Saiyan forms, Trunks' Super Saiyan forms, and all of Vegeta's forms. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you made it to the end and you're generally one of my favorite people ever, I appreciate it a lot. These video essays are becoming better as I work on them more. I'm trying very hard to get good at this. I enjoy talking about shit and being silly. And if you made it all the way to the end, comment down below what your favorite planet was that I talked about. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next time.